Judy LaDeur, and we're here to talk about the winter 2014 edition of the Exclusive Marketing and Recruiting Club. Hi, Judy. How are you?
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much. I'm doing great. Freezing up here in cold Chicago, but other than that, doing well.
I can't even imagine it. Well, I'm much better than you. I'm down here in sunny Florida, so.
I know. I wish I were there as well. So I just want to start off first. Yeah. I'd just like to first start, Julie, by thanking you so much for all the contributions that you've made to our winter edition of our marketing kit. The graphics, the writing, everything that you've shared has just really made this a spectacular kit. And those who've already seen it have been calling in and sending emails saying how wonderful it is. So great job, Julie.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to be part of it. It's an exciting time of year to recruit, and I know I think it's going to be an exciting year in real estate. Actually, it seems like things are popping all over the place, and people are really starting to make things happen.
I agree. A lot of the people that we're coaching have been reporting that they've been signing up 1, 2, 3, 4, one as many as 5 agents just since Christmas. And so I know that a lot of our brokers and recruiters out there started, that last week of December, getting things rolling, getting their marketing out, and this is an exciting time for brokers and a great time to get your marketing.
So that's music to your ears as a coach, I'm sure, when people are proactive at the end of the year.
Right. Well, one of the things that I've always seen is that when that a lot of times that last week of December is a definite downtime for agents. They're not really busy. Their business hasn't really gone into full swing yet. They're enjoying the holidays with their family and friends. And it's just a great time for them to get to start thinking about their goals for the year. Are they with the right company? Are they getting the support that they need? And most agents are willing to talk to brokers that time of the year. So kudos to the brokers who got right to work and have already hit the ground running at the first of the year. So again, they're already seeing great results.
That's fantastic. Well, let's first talk a little bit about how brokers can use the system. We've got some people that have had it in the past, and it seems pretty simple. But we have made it as user-friendly as possible.
We definitely have. That thanks to you as your efforts there. It's just such a joy working with you. I think for the brokers who just received their kits, and again, if you're getting this recording and you did not, and you're thinking that you did not get your kit, you were sent a link. You can contact our office. But when you get the link, you'll see on there that you just click on your winter, marketing kit, and what you're seeing right now on the webinar is what you'll be seeing once you download your marketing kit. So with that in mind, I think one of the things that it's really important to do is we've on page number 4, we've put a sheet on how to use your club tools. And don't just zip past that, because I think there's some really important things there. You have a table of contents. You can go quickly to anything that you want. But once you do find something that you like, you want to make sure that you're copying that content onto your own letterhead, note card, postcard, and even email, social media, Facebook, and make it yours. Okay? You can also get a little creative. You can either add a little bit of your own personality, or you can put some of the results in there that you've had. So let's say that the first one is we're going to talk about in a few minutes is on setting your goals for January. If you are someone that works with your agents to set those goals the first of the year, and you've had some agents from last year really have a phenomenal year based on the fact that you helped them set some goals, put that in there. Maybe take a testimonial. Upon joining your office, maybe this person's increased their production 200% as a direct result of the support that you've given with regard to goal setting or business planning. So that really is going to make any of your mailings much more effective when you add results to it and really do something to make it your own. Now, the other thing, of course, to do is you do have to make sure you're making your phone calls. And your phone, I know it's the broker's least favorite thing, but what I have found, which is a good thing, is that when brokers feel like they have a reason to make a phone call, they usually are much more likely to do it. And I think that's really the great part about this kit is that we do not only give them the scripts to use to call, but basically each letter is something specific that's really easy to talk about with any agent in your marketplace. So get on the phone, make those calls. As you know, I believe that you ought to be talking to 15 agents a week for the most part. I mean, some of you are going to be a little higher and some lower. But set that as a goal this year, 15 conversations a week, every week. That'll have you talking to 60 agents a month. It'll definitely put you face-to-face with at least 6 agents, resulting in 2 or 3 hires. So that would make a great 2014.
That's powerful.
Also, yeah. And you know, the last thing, which is step number 7 on there, is just time block your prospecting time. And you know, if you have to move it, then remove it to another time block. But that is a really important part of making sure that you don't get to the end of the day, suddenly you're out of time or you've come into an inconvenient time for agents to talk. So make sure you review your club tools, take that advice and apply it to the marketing, and you're going to really get some better results.
Love
you know,
that.
as we go, yeah, thanks. As we go into our kit, if we look at the first one, and I'll just kind of go through some of the letters, and then maybe I'll switch it over to Julie to go through some information as well.
Okay.
The first one that we did, which was so obvious for the new year, is a formula to achieve the first the first letter for the agents is on goal setting, and so we have a resource article for you as a broker, which is also on goal setting, and that is a formula to achieve your recruiting goals for 2014. Just talks about the fact that as you begin the year, you want to take a look at, you know, what you've done in the previous year. If you know your stats from the last part of the year, you're going to be able to say, okay, I know that it takes me 5 calls to book 1 appointment. And so if I need 2 appointments a week, I definitely have to be talking to 10 agents a week. And it's so much easier to know what those numbers are. Obviously, you do need to have a consistent marketing campaign, and that's where this marketing kit's going to really come in handy. Once again, we give them to you quarterly so that you can plan ahead slightly, but it's not so far in advance that you forget to do it. And so this should definitely keep you on track with that. And of course, you know, when you're face-to-face with those agents, as you know, and that we've taught each of you, is to spend the time getting to know, you know, what their needs are, what they're looking for, present what it is that they're looking for. You don't have to give them all the information. You simply need to solve what other problems that they're having right now, and you should have some great success with your interviews this year. So let's take a look at some of our letters for this year. Now, one of the things that many of you have told us is that there are a lot of companies that are making changes at the beginning of the year, whether it's a name change, a compensation change, a policy change. And so as a little bonus letter, I thought I'd just go ahead and put a letter about making change in there. And it says your compensation plan and support should not change, even though everything else does change. And if you've got a company in your marketplace that is making a change, this is a great letter to send out to those agents. And then, again, just pick up that phone, give them a call, and say, look, as long as the name on your business card is going to change, or as long as the address on your business card is going to change anyways, why not make sure it's the change that you want? Why not use this time to check out what, you know, your competition would be offering you? And I think most agents, especially your more business-minded agents, your more logical ones, are definitely going to take a look at their options whenever their company's making a change, just to make sure that that is really the change that they want. So I think a lot of you are going to be able to use this letter not only now, but keep this letter handy for the remainder of the year. Keep in mind that changes, whether it's a management change, brokerage change, name change, address change, happen all the time. And so when it happens, make sure that this is a letter that you use.
Well, and I think that's where it's really important for brokers to kind of have their ear to the ground, because there's so much opportunity right now. You know, as we go each quarter, and as you know, as things really do evolve in the marketplace, and our economy is changing, and different marketplaces are changing, the broker that is really tuned in and listening not only to what's happening in the marketplace, but also what's happening right there in their office is the broker that's out ahead, because I think sometimes they tune so much into recruiting, they forget to listen to their own agents. Their own agents can be a tremendous source of information for them.
Absolutely. And, the best way for them to know what's happening in the offices of their competition is to be making those phone calls and be talking to the agents and building and maintaining those relationships, because agents do talk.
Oh, absolutely.
So great tip there, Julie. If we move on to our next letter, our January message was a new and different goal for 2014. Now, we've decided to put a little bit of a different spin on our goal letter this year. Instead of just basically saying, how much more business can you do and what are you going to do, we actually put the focus on maybe what are some things that they should not be doing in the up-and-coming year, which could have just as much of a positive impact on their productivity and their well-being as what they are going to do. And so it's a really cute little letter, but one of the stories that I put in there is the story that my first broker told me that said, Judy, you have the ability to make millions in this business, but you'll only do it if you spend your time doing the right activities. Do what you do best and let others do what they do best. I think even though this message dates all the way back to 1975, it is a message that is just as important today as ever, because back in 1975, we did do it all because we did not have technology. We didn't have assistants. No one had even thought of putting together a team. A team was actually usually the local brokerage. But today, you have the ability to do what you do best, which is list and sell real estate, and to hire, whether it's companies, assistants, or, again, rely upon your broker, who in many cases offering a lot of support services to do a lot of those things that are time intensive, but really don't put money in your pocket. And you get paid to be face-to-face with a buyer or seller. And as an agent, I think that's an important message for those of you, especially those of you that have a lot of support systems to offer agents in your marketplace, is to really stress, let us do the stuff behind the scenes. Let us keep your name out there. Let us do some things that free up time so that you can have more time to spend with those that you care about in your life. And then we just gave them a little simple exercise as brokers. I know that you all know how to do this, but you'd be amazed at how many agents do not know. And it's just basically how to determine, their goals for the year. And again, you can ask them, is this something they've already done? They should have done it. It's January. If they haven't done it, offer to meet with them, review their business, take a look at what their goals are for next year, help them develop a plan for next year, whether they want to work with your company or not. The rule of thumb is be their broker until you can be their broker. And this is just a great way for you to start off some great relationships at the beginning of the year.
Well, I love how this taps into one of the top 10 resolutions people make, and that is to find more balance in life,
right,
between career and personal life. So this really taps into that for agents. I mean, I know a lot of agents that are really busy being busy, but not necessarily busy making money, or not necessarily busy having balance. So really kind of helping them focus on that is a tremendous asset.
Great, thanks, Julie. Well, that was really the goal in writing the letter, was maybe get their attention and say, instead of looking at what are you going to do this year, let's take a look at, more importantly, at what you're not going to do, to achieve that balance, which you're right, is a goal that everyone seems to set every year. They're always looking for balance. They just don't know how to necessarily achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
Going into February, we thought we would make that one kind of cute. Most agents are emotional decision makers. That means they do like the cute stuff. And if you're a logical broker, I have a lot of logical brokers that say things like, I'm not sending that out. There's no way my name's going on a marketing piece with a heart in it or confetti. But, it doesn't really matter what your personality is. You need to look at the agents that you're targeting. And so if you are targeting real estate agents, 80% of them are emotional in nature. They do love stuff that's fun and cute. So one of my favorite lines is that, we know your heart's in the right place, but what about your real estate license? And it's just a great little line to grab their attention. Yeah. and to say maybe you could be that type of agent that would work well with our team. And we're targeting emotional agents here. It's true, and but I think it's just a fun letter to send out for February.
I love it.
Yeah. Moving on to March now. Of course, everyone thinks March Madness. I will tell you that I actually did some research on March Madness. It's funny. I always thought March Madness was the time where you do all your shopping, because all the stores always say March Madness sales. And so I was like, hey, maybe we'll talk about buying or selling or something. But actually, March Madness is all about sports. So now we bring it back to the men. We bring it back to a lot of the more logical agents. And I think it's March Madness time. And just talking a little bit about, March Madness, we'll get their attention right away. But more importantly, March Madness is about the best of the best competing. And that elimination is just that, you got one shot to make it. And if not, you're eliminated, and it just keeps, coming down really to that, that Final Four. And, if you think about it as a broker, wouldn't it be kind of fun to have that March Madness of real estate competition every year? Having companies or teams compete based on skills and leadership qualities and opportunities to develop agents into a champion agent. And so I thought this would be a great way to come right back from February, where it's kind of the sweetheart month, of March Madness, where we're focusing on sports.
And competition is a great motivator, so you can't deny that.
Right. Good. Now, the next thing we've got is obviously your phone follow-up tips, and the phone follow-up tips just really help you pick up that phone, get going. If we take a look at each one of them, as you'll see there in January, we're letting you know what January is about. It's new reflections, reflecting on the year. So the first tip is just to see if they have a plan. If not, help them develop one. And January also represents change. So if you've got companies making change, see how the agents feel about that change. And again, if there's a change taking place, why not control the change? Make it a change that works for them. February being the sweet month, as we talked about, a bit corny, but thanks to Hallmark, it's a time when spouses, lovers, and even friends take the time to say I love you or to express their sentiments. And so it's a great time for you to pick up the phone and just say, just want to say how sweet it is when we have a transaction with you, and you can, again, be as corny or funny as you want in February. I think that it's kind of the month that allows us to do that. And March, as we just said, talk about competition. When you play with better players, your game just naturally improves. Ask about their game and what their coach is doing to help them improve their game. You can also tie it right into, we're actually looking to recruit agents onto our team right now. We've got a great coaching program. Talk about your results, and I think you're going to have some really, really great results on your phone calls with the marketing scripts that we've given you to work from. Julie, why don't you, you created our lumpy letters. Why don't you talk a little bit about lumpy letters? And again, I love the fact that you always enclose a link to show them right where they can get something to go along with the lumpy letter. So why don't you talk about those a little bit?
Okay. Well, I love lumpy letters. I think they're fun. I think they really capture somebody's attention, and they create a buzz. I mean, anybody can send a letter, and I think that's important. But if you were to send somebody something that had noisemakers in it and that kind of thing, and they open up this padded envelope that goes to their home, and they see this, and they're just going, this person's different. This broker is thinking outside the box. This broker cares enough to not just copy. I mean, I've seen, and I know you have, I've seen recruiting letters that have been copied from copies of copies of copies that you can barely read. They're illegible. It's something fun where you're actually showing that agent that you've taken some time to be creative, to do something a little different, to really capture their attention, and have some fun with it. I think there's a lot of, there's enough naysayers out there in the world. There's enough negative on the news. So it's great when a broker takes the time to be a little playful and to be a little fun and show that, it is work here, and we do work hard, and we do create a lot of results, but we also have a lot of fun. It's a good community, and it's a good culture in our office. So for January, I just did to make some fun, and it's where you could send a noisemaker. And like Judy said, I always include a link where they can actually go and purchase one of the items at the bottom of the letter. Oops. And just have some fun with it. Let's get back to that. So for January, we did make some noise, and that just talks about, everything's filled with opportunity. It can be your chance to really kind of strike out and make a name for yourself in the marketplace. So this can either be for newer agents or even an agent that you see that's kind of that mid-level producer that you can kind of tell is ready to strike out but really hasn't had the support they need. So I think that's a great letter for them. For February, we got a little cute here, like you said, too. But we found these little connect the dot pieces games, which are kind of fun. And are you connecting all the dots? It takes a lot to be a top producer. You really have to have all of the bells and whistles in place in order to really compete on a high level in today's marketplace. So this kind of just brings it back to that. And again, you can just click on that, order 12 or whatever, and just really start sending them out, and you have them on hand to send whenever you like.
Yeah, a reminder for the brokers is that, you may recall that lumpy letters do not have to be sent out to your entire database. You certainly can, especially if some of you have smaller databases. But if you have a really large database, you can take your top 25, your top 50. I have a couple of brokers with their top 100, and just take those people that you're actively talking to, you have a relationship with, those that you think you may be hiring within the next year, and keep them on the lumpy letter campaign as well. So what would happen is your January letter would go out first. 2 weeks later, their lumpy email for January would go out. Then your February letter would go out. 2 weeks later, your lumpy email for February would go out. So they actually get an extra mailing because they're the brokers or the agents on your A-list.
I love it. Well, and I think it also really creates a buzz in offices and at community events and at board events. If you're getting something fun and so different from a broker, and you're at a board function, did you see what Judy, did you send you that kind of thing? Judy sent me this crazy thing that has noisemakers in it, and have you ever heard of such a thing? So it not only attracts the attention of the agents that you're looking to recruit, but as you said earlier, agents talk, so it also captures the attention of other brokers or other agents in the marketplace.
Great point, Julie.
Social media posts, and we're having a lot of fun with this, I think, in each kit. A lot of brokers are just really not sure what to do, how to do it in terms of posting for their agent or for their offices. So we kind of give them some ideas each month, and this month we have 8 different social media ideas. Sponsor a coach for kids or something for the local children's hospital or a food drive campaign in your area. Anytime you can get people together and create synergy, both in your office with your current team, and really kind of bring the community and other agents from the area together, then it really makes you that more civic-minded office, and it makes you, that common goal is really a powerful thing, I think, both in terms of retention of current agents because they're part of something bigger, and I think in recruitment because, other agents see that you are, that they can be part of something bigger. So I love the idea of really sponsoring something once a quarter or twice a year, that kind of thing as an office. And the companies that I've seen that have done that have really inspired agents in the market, inspired other businesses to take part, and that really creates some networking amongst other businesses in the area. So now all of a sudden you've got local restaurants and shop owners and that kind of thing that are actually supporting your real estate your real estate company, because they're taking part in something bigger too. So I think networking is really, really important.
I do too.
In-house agent of the week, I think it's fun to spotlight your agents. I think too many times we are so focused on recruiting that we forget to give the attaboys and the kudos to the agents that are currently with us. So what happens?
Right.
Right, Judy? Then
That's right.
other brokers who are calling them and giving them the attention, then all of a sudden their heads can get turned as well. So you have to make sure that you find a real healthy balance between recruiting new agents and giving your current agents the kudos that they need. Plus, and that's a plus in terms of recruiting too. I mean, if you're saying, my agent Judy is doing great things. She just listed this fantastic property, or she just won this award, and you're posting that on your social media. Well, then agents from other offices go, well, geez, my broker never does that for me, kind of thing, And it is.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a little competitive out there. So, I mean, it is something that you do need to recognize. And doing that once a week is a great way to really make people feel good and to show that you care.
Right. One thing
so,
we always tell them is that what it takes to get an agent is what it takes to keep them. And so you're absolutely right, Julie. If you are giving a lot of kudos to the competition's agents and a lot of recognition to them, but failing to give it to your own, keep in mind that the competition is probably giving your agents a lot of attention, and they might be thinking, geez, like maybe I should go there and get the attention that I want, but I deserve.
Exactly. And again, I mean, that goes back to what you talked about earlier. Really, really doing some of that time blocking and making sure that you're finding a healthy balance in terms of recruiting and retention.
Right.
Photo ops. I love photo ops. I think when you see, and you don't have to be overly goofy. I know there's a lot of brokers out there that are very, very type A personalities and that kind of thing, and I don't want to stretch myself too far and be too silly or whatever, but it's okay. I mean, you could do all kinds of photo ops. You could do if you're driving by and you see a new listing sign go up, that's one of your agents, just stop and take a picture. Everybody's got a smartphone in their hand. Take a picture and put it up and go, hey, just drove by Sally Jones' new listing. Great job. The house looks great. I'll see you in the office, kind of thing. So it's little things like that that mean a lot, actually,
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're having an event in the office, or you guys are just having fun, or there's a training session, encourage people to take pictures. Grab a digital camera. Make sure that someone in your office is taking pictures. And get permission, obviously. Don't be putting up nasty pictures of somebody. Everybody wants to make sure they're, especially on Facebook, right, that their best face is being put forward. But, have some fun with it. Then you're showing, oh, look what we're doing in our office. We've got an open house, or we've got a training program, or, we're doing a team building exercise, or, we're all on the phones, that kind of thing. So you're showing that it's a participatory type culture in your office. And I think that's a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the photo that the broker in St. Louis posted today of the igloo with the for sale sign up front?
I love that.
Isn't that great? You got the arch in St. Louis in the background. I mean, what a great creative way to get the attention of all the consumers in that area. So hats off to that broker. And I posted on my Facebook page. It was just, I thought, a really cute photo. But,
just have fun with it, right?
Yeah, just have fun with it.
And that's your training day. Obviously, if you're doing great training in your office, open it up. Be inclusive. Invite other agents to your office. I mean, I think there's so often we tend to be really closed in terms of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. And, it used to be that was the culture. Be very secretive and that type of thing. But in today's world, information is everywhere, so people are going to know about it anyway. So you might as well open it up, let people know what you're doing. Agents today need training, they need coaching, they need resources, they need the different platforms. So if you are the broker in town that is making that available to them, or you're bringing a presenter in, then share that. Then the other agents from other offices are going, oh, Judy's office is always doing training. They've always got stuff for their agents to learn and grow and that kind of thing. Even your own agents, if you've got an agent that is really sharp and can show their stuff and really wants an opportunity to teach some of what they know and bring some other people under their wing, that's a great opportunity to give them kudos as well as create a training session for your office.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think today, especially with CE classes, so many brokers have CE classes in their office, in their company for their own agents. That is such a wonderful opportunity because we know every agent has to have those CE classes. And if your office is convenient and you've got a relationship with them, that's just a no-brainer.
Exactly. Add a seasonal touch. I like that the fun flavor of that. Like you could do 30 top resolutions, and every day post a silly resolution that people make, and and ask the question, what's your resolution? That type of deal. For February, obviously talk about passion, talk about doing what you love, talk about show agents that are really passionate about not only what they do, but, a lot of people have their own personal charities or their own personal things that they're really passionate about and within the community or even in the scope of what they're doing. So I think that's really cool. In March, you could do spring cleaning tips, you could do blessings, you could do, make it fun. You can talk about, like you said, the March Madness, really kind of get into that sports arena. So there's so many different ways to make it seasonal, make it fun. Post at least 3 days a week on your Facebook page and on your Google page. And just like I said, have fun with it. Too often I think we get very stilted and all we're posting is listings. And if that's the case, then your page gets kind of boring pretty fast. So you have to make sure that you're keeping it fun, use a lot of visuals, and really just get out there and make it something that really catches people's eye. Tap into local community pages. There's a site, patch.com, that it's not everywhere, but it's certainly growing, and it's growing quickly. So definitely click on that and see if your area has a patch.com page, because it tends to, it pulls from all the local schools and that type of thing, so it's got a lot of local information. And you can take that local information and share it, reshare it on your pages. For example, if the local school is having, if you get the local school website and they're having a school production or a concert, or they've got, standardized testing that's going on, or there's a problem at one of the schools, or there's, there's students that are excelling at that school. Those are great things, because who are your customers in the market area, right? Your customers are all those people in all those neighborhoods whose kids go to all those schools, right? So
yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, hyper-local information is really, really key. People, they want to know what's happening in their community. They want to find a resource that they can trust, that is kind of all-inclusive, that has all of the information that they want. So when you can kind of share that, then that makes your agents look good, it makes your company look good, and it certainly makes you, that synergy that you find when you've got listing signs up in, for sale signs up in your marketplace, and you're creating resources that the consumers want. Well, that just makes it that much easier for your agents to succeed, and it makes it that much easier for you to be seen by both consumers and other agents.
Great information.
Get connected. There's so many groups. I mean, there's so many groups. And if you just start with, real estate mastermind or real estate groups on Facebook, for example, or on LinkedIn, you'll find tons of them. And it takes a little homework, and maybe it's something you want to do on a Sunday afternoon or something like that, or a little bit of downtime. Just kind of scroll through some of those and request to take part in some of those mastermind groups and those different marketing groups, because there's a lot of information that people are sharing. They're sharing freely, and there's a lot you can learn from different agents and see what other people are doing in your area. And lastly, brain tease. I thought this would be a really fun thing to do this quarter, is to really kind of ask questions, do trivia tips, local information. I know one broker that has a lot of fun with that. He uses a smartphone, goes all over town, and takes a picture, and with a Where Am I Now kind of contest, and has people kind of tag it and say, okay, just like you said, the St. Louis, you're at the Arch, or you're at, the Denny's on Waters kind of thing, So just kind of have fun with it, and then that gets agents involved. It gets different community members involved. You can get different businesses involved. So once you start that ball rolling, where you've got the restaurants in your area that are kind of connected to your company, and the businesses in your area, be that there's tire places, there's mechanics, there's attorneys, there's CPAs. I mean, there's so many different businesses. If you think of your, within a 10-mile radius of your office, how many businesses does that represent? If you could get 5 or 10 of them talking about you because you're talking about them, then all of a sudden you've opened up your network to not just your agents and your group of friends and family, but now you're opening it up to those to those businesses and their networks. So it's a really powerful way to grow your influence and grow it quickly, and have a real line of communication. So if you've got a local doctor's office, for example, that's holding a flu shot drive or something like that, well, it only takes you a few minutes to talk about that. Get on the phone and say, hey, Dr. Smith, what are you doing, that kind of thing. And then you can talk about that. Say, hey, you know what, there's a great pediatrician off of, Hanley Road, and he's doing this, and it's a great opportunity. If you haven't got your flu shots yet, to get your kids vaccinated, just little things like that. Because
Right.
Again, it's a hyper-local thing. But then all of a sudden, when that doctor is, looking for something, then it's your office that they're talking about, because you're talking about them. So there's a lot of give and take, I think, in the community when you really kind of open up those lines of communication.
Right. I love that. I love it. Even something as simple as, when I was posting about the weather in Chicago and the flights and delays, we had one of our brokers down in Kentucky posted that her son called the airlines only to find out his flight had been canceled. He didn't have to go there. He's got 2 more days with his family. And so social media is great for that. Like I said, just even sharing little things like that, can engage people or have people go, hey, did you see what's happening there? And let's check our flights, or let's double check, or like you said, I've been looking for a dentist. Wow, great timing. I think I'll check this one out. We all like people that can be recommended. So great ideas, Julie, for social marketing.
But I think it's just like anything else, it takes practice. There's a lot of brokers that, I don't want to do it, or I don't. It's like anything else. It's a habit. I mean, if it's something you do, when you're drinking your morning coffee or whatever, just some way where you can fit it into the day. I'm not suggesting for a minute, that you spend all day on there. I mean, a lot of people, their first knee-jerk reaction, oh, it's a time waster or a time, consumer, that type of thing. It doesn't have to be. But the more that you are visible in as many arenas as you can be visible, the higher probability that you're going to be seen by consumers in your market area and other agents.
Absolutely. And great stuff and great ideas. One of the things that we always have brokers telling us is that, well, I'm doing it all, but, here's an objection I'm getting. And how do I overcome this? So one of the things that we added to the kit were just a couple of objection handling tips from objections that some of the brokers that are in communication with us are saying, can you help me out here? And this is something that's a real challenge for me. I think the number one objection that every broker still really struggles with is a broker that says either another company's offered the agent a higher split, lower fees. And, quite honestly, I'm amazed that it really throws the brokers into such a tizzy. But it still tends to be the number one objection, and it's really quite easy to handle. But there are definitely a few things that you have to keep in mind. The first really being that you should never try to be all things to all agents at all times. And what that means is that we work with a lot of brokers who have a lot of different venues, a lot of different compensation splits, a lot of different services and support. And that's really what makes each one special and what makes each one unique. But the rule of thumb, and you already know this if you're a broker, the rule of thumb for you to succeed in business is this. If you're going to spend a lot of money implementing support systems, marketing, coaching, training, all of those types of support systems which require staff, technology, materials, things of that nature, your compensation plan has to be reflective of that. So your compensation plan is not going to be the same as someone that's offering that. Whereas if a broker says, look, I'm going to go with a virtual office, minimal staff, or in some cases no staff, agents work from their home. Here's the online tools we have, but literally I'm not going to have a traditional office with a ton of support. That's great. They have the ability to offer those agents a much more competitive fee structure, and but in return for that, what they're saying is, if you don't need all that stuff, we'll pay you more. But rarely do you get both, and if you do, then that broker is going to be in trouble. And we had a broker one time, Julie, that told us that they wanted to attract all the best agents in town. So they were going to offer a really high compensation plan, but at the same time, they were going to put in all these support systems. And as I sat there working through the cost factor with the broker, they realized that they weren't going to have the income to support the services based on what they were doing. And I think sometimes brokers do just kind of jump into it, and they don't really give it a lot of thought. But most do, and most of our brokers are smart up where when they sit down and they look at either the implementing of a new system or new support tool for their agents, they also look at what kind of income will this generate and what kind of impact will this have overall on our company. Will it help us hire more agents? Can we stay competitive in the world of compensation? One thing I absolutely have seen every single year, and it never ever changes, is the majority of agents do not select their company based on money. And it's because of that that I'm surprised at so many brokers who do understand that we're an emotionally based industry. We do not, agents don't say, well, look, I'm just going for the person that's giving me the high split or the lowest fees. That's a rare situation. I mean, every agent's looking to be compensated fairly. And certainly if they can get a lot of support and a lot of services and still be earning a higher compensation rate, they're going to be thrilled with that. But ideally, it all starts in the marketing, which is why you're in this club. Your job is to send a message into the marketplace to the agents that says, here's who we are. Here's what we give you in the way of support. Here's what should happen to your income if you're with our team. Here's what's happened to others. That's what your marketing and that's what your phone calls are supposed to do, educate agents in the marketplace. And if you're educating the agents in the marketplace properly, then when you call them, the ones that want to come in and talk to you will want to come in and talk to you because of that higher that higher income, that better lifestyle, whatever it's going to be. Or it just could be, geez, are you serious? Like your fees are that low and that's all it's going to cost me? Oh, heck, I'm there. So no matter what it is, your marketing's got to set it up. Or when you call them and you say, did you get our marketing piece and did you see what we're doing? That the agents that want to be with you are going to come in. And so when they come in during that interview, your goal is to find out what they're looking for, what their needs are, and not only present those systems, but you have to build value in each of those systems that you generate. And for most of you out there, an average commission, for most agents is, let's say, we'll just say it ranges between $5,000 and $10,000. But we'll just go on the real low end of it. We'll just say $5,000. So if you have some tools and opportunities that would, easily allow them to have just 4 more sales a year, there's 20,000 more they can have with your company. And it's that value that has to be placed against the other companies that they're talking to. Because if it is a company that has not built the value in the interview and they're just offering a little bit of a higher split, but you can show that the value is there and that they'll have more sales and more business, the smart agents understand value. And again, the majority of agents in our marketplace are going to choose to be with a company that they respect, that they like, that they relate to, and that they believe they're going to be happy with. It is far more of an emotional decision for most agents than logical. So don't let that objection throw you. Don't get all flustered and think, I hate that. I can't pay him anymore. You don't have to pay more. You just have to do a better job at building value. And there's a video link that I've already done on this that you can click on there, as you can see. But make that a resolution this year. And if you don't I think that you're doing a really good job in your interviews and you're struggling with the value, then give us a call. You might be a great candidate for coaching. Maybe you need to go back through training again. But your interview skills are the key to being able to develop the value during the interview. And so right there is some support for you. But just practice. Just make it all about them and make sure you build that value there.
I love it. And that's something that probably a lot of brokers are going to be hit with at this time of year too. So.
Right. As far as, there was one more objection that we kind of covered with you this time too, is what happens when agents are avoiding my calls. And you know what? It happens to the best of us, and we all do it too. Okay, so let's just be honest here. You know, there's times when someone calls you that you look at your phone and you just say to yourself, I already know what they want, and right now I'm too busy to take that call. We all do it. And your recruits are going to do it too, because quite honestly, they know why you're calling. But, you know, leave a message anyways. Tell them, listen, you know, can you give me a call? I have something I need to ask you. And if they don't return the phone call fairly soon, send them a text, okay? Because what I found is that it's not just about phone calling these days. You have to understand what their style of communication is, and you need to have a note on your file that says responds best to texting, or responds quickly on Facebook, responds instantly via email. So your phone calls aren't always the best way to get through to your recruits. And so if they aren't answering your phone call, deliver that communication a different way. Ask them to give you a call, and you might have a much better chance of them taking it. But you know, there are some reasons it happens. You know, sometimes you're just a little too forceful on the phone. You try too hard to convince them to come in. You never let them off the call. And if they know that you never let them off the call and they're not ready to come in, why take your call in the first place? So the call should never be more than 5 or 10 minutes long. You just really call in to see if the time is right. So don't put a whole lot of pressure on them, and you'll find that it works a lot better. And again, when they're ready to talk, they are going to talk to you. There's times when I have left messages for companies that I want to do presentations to for 2 or 3 years without any return phone calls myself, and doing everything I can, notes, emails, calls, no return call. And then one day out of the clear blue sky, 2 or 3 years later, I get the, hey, Judy, listen, you know, it's Joe. And, yeah, just like, you know, I'd call you back and let you know we'd like to talk to you. I'm thinking, what, 3 years later? But, you know, I don't. I just say, hey, Joe, great to hear from you. What can I do for you?
That's an impatience, right?
Right. So it's, you know, they're going to just make sure they know where to find you when they're ready to talk. And some of them are not going to call you till then, but there's a lot of them that will talk to you. So don't let a few of them that won't keep you from making your phone calls.
I love it.
And the last thing that we have in our kits, which, as we told you before, is really important, is a retention tool. And so here's a cute little note that you can, a great little idea for your agents. You know, you're on fire, thrilled at what you're accomplishing. And, you know, I love to send these notes, these retention notes, to their home, because sometimes there's family members or friends there that are supporting them. If it's food like Little Red Hots, then everybody's going to be sharing them. But you know, when they get discouraged sometimes, you know, having that team that is at their home kind of saying, hey, listen, you know, call Julie, you know, because, you know, make sure Julie knows what's going on. She'd want to know. They'll be some of your biggest supporters when they come home after a bad day and they're being recruited heavily by another broker who wants to talk to them. And handwritten is best. I know I hear a lot of brokers say, well, you know, if I handwrite mine, they're never going to know what it is. And that's true, too. But, you know, just at least they'll know it's yours, you know, if it's a really bad day. And, but just say something, you know, short and sweet. If they had a great month, remember to compliment them on that, too. This is a great time of year just to compliment them on what they did for the previous year. So they've just completed another year with your firm. Make sure you reinforce how much you care about them and how important they are, so that they spend one more year with you, which is
never,
or
never
2 or 3 or 4.
That's right. Don't underestimate the power of a thank you or a pat on the back. It is powerful, and it goes a lot further than people think.
Right. And just so there's no confusion, the last is the webinar invitation for you to join us on the webinar on January 8th. We have pre-recorded this webinar for you just to get it out to everyone right away. We know that most people are coming back from holidays tomorrow on January 6th. And so therefore we want to get this out to you as soon as you come back so you can get started Many people had indicated it was just a really inconvenient time to try to block off a time when they're so busy coming back. So we hope that this idea worked much better for you, that you're able to listen to this webinar not only when it's convenient for you this week, but to re-listen to it as often as you need until you get your next kit. One last reminder, and there's been a lot of confusion about this. We have corrected this for 2014 in an effort to make it very easy and very affordable for you. And as you can see here, to get a kit of this caliber with this much information in it for $29.95 has to be the best deal on the planet. But we decided we would just bill everyone $9.95 per month to make it easy for you to pay for it and not worry about it. Unfortunately, it's caused a lot of confusion because since you're getting monthly billings, you think that you should be getting monthly kits, and it is a quarterly kit. So starting in 2014, those who enroll will just be billed quarterly for the $29.97 for the kit. If you're already enrolled, the payments still are only the $9.99 a month. And again, we hope that that does not create any confusion for you. However, Julie and I do plan to get some tips and different articles and things out in between the marketing kits just to touch base with you so you don't think that we've forgotten you. But I'm sorry for all that confusion. We have a lot of people at the end of the year that called and said, you know, what's happening to our monthly tips. So it is a quarterly kit, but starting in 2014, you'll actually hear from us between each of the kits just to say hi and maybe you know, throw a little extra marketing piece or tip or something your way. Julie, anything you'd like to say in closing?
Just certainly if anybody, if you're looking for information or you've got questions or whatever, you can certainly go to Judy's site, JudyLaDeurInternational.com or just JudyLaDeur.com. Click on the Contact Us button, fill it out, you know, give us your questions. We're happy to answer any of your questions and get that, you know, get those answers right back to you. And let us know what you're looking to have in future kits. We love the creativity of brokers, and we'd love to share some ideas as well. We'd love to take in some of your ideas and really kind of embellish them and make them even stronger. So certainly go to Judy's site and contact us that way. And I just want to wish everybody a great recruiting season.
Great. And, you know, Julie, before we leave, I think most of the people that are in the Marketing Club do have the Ultimate Real Estate Recruiting Letter Library and Marketing Resource. But it is our featured product this month. It is, for those of you in the Marketing Club, the product is only $99. You see right there $129, but when you're in the Marketing Club, it's only $99. And it is a great, great resource and a great tool, and it's got over 200 additional letters, social media content, marketing tools, scripts, and things of that. So if you don't have that marketing resource that we created in June and you'd like to have a few extra letters and a few extra marketing resource tools, then you'll love that product if you like the marketing kits.
And that's as easy as adding it to your cart and using the promo code LIBRARY, and that'll give it to you for the $99 rather than the $129.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. Stay warm out there, everybody, and here's to a great first quarter.
Yes, Happy New Year to you all, and we look forward to getting your feedback on this marketing kit and the agents that it helps you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Judy.